So you gotta love the true legends of poker, right? There's one guy who's just an all-timer here in Reno. He's a Hall of Famer, the best guy ever for the game. You gotta love this guy. Last year he tells me, look Ben, I just can't do it right now. The masks, the plexiglass, I can't play, I hate it. I'll be back next year, is what he says. And I said, well, there's no way. I started talking to some other people and I'm like, I wonder how long he'll actually be gone. I figured the over-under was 2 weeks. And most people seem to agree with that. He showed up 35 minutes later. At the Atlantis this time, where the poker room doesn't compare to the one at the Peppermill, but it does do a couple of things better. It gives out more comps, has better chairs, and doesn't have tables 5 feet away from an area where people are smoking outside of a doorless entrance to the room. They should really build a door, or at least adhere to my request to move the $5 game to a back table at Peppermill. But anyway, I jump into the 3-5 game at the Atlantis, and shockingly, it's only 5-handed when it starts. The hijack opens to 15, and the cutoff calls. I have queens on the button and make it 50, but don't end up getting any action, something that would not be a problem later on. I then pick up the 3-5 in a hand that I'm going to fast forward through to the end because nothing happened. On a 6-6 deuce 8 board, I say to the dealer, put a 4 out there.
Put a 4 out there. 4.
And sure enough, he does, giving me the straight. Still, a guy then bets into me for 25 after that happened.
Real shitty.
I called for the 4 and you still bet?
And I'm just wondering, how does a guy bet into me when I specifically asked for that card? But I could not get myself to just call. So I decide to min raise to 50. And after thinking about it for a minute, he 3-bets 100 more. At this point, I know he's got a full house of some sort. I fold. He shows pocket 4s, a hand that makes a hell of a lot of sense. Then I end up turning the nut flush draw and semi-bluffing it to no avail, getting called by top pair, and found myself stuck a slight amount on the day. 6-handed, the cutoff opens to 15 and the button calls. I have queen 10 of clubs in the small blind and squeeze to 60. Both make the call. So with 185 in, the flop comes ace 10-3 rainbow, and I decided to just check here, which both opponents do as well. The turn comes another ace. Great card for me, but I know there aren't a ton of cards that I'm going to get action from. I bet 55, and only the button calls. With 295 in, the river comes an offsuit 4. I bet out for 60, but end up getting a fold. Also, I'm currently very bitter at sports, which I'll mention at the end of the vlog, but my surprising San Francisco Giants happen to be playing against the Angels as I shot this vlog, with Shohei Ohtani pitching. I just can't get over how amazing he is. Being a top pitcher and an everyday home run hitter, you gotta love that guy. Then playing 8-handed, we get a limp and a raise to 30 from a guy in the hijack who seemed somewhat tilted. He would shortly be even more so. I look down at ace deuce of spades in the big blind and make the call, as does the limper. With 90 in, the flop comes king of diamonds, 7 of hearts, 4 of spades, and no one bets. The turn is the 6 of spades, giving me the nut flush draw. Now I know the hijack has a big pre-flop holding, but I thought there was a chance that it was a pair below the king and that I could potentially double barrel him off of it. I knew one bet was not going to get it done. I bet 55, and he instantly raises me to 110 after the other guy folds. He has about 400 behind here, and I know that if I hit a spade, I can definitely get his entire stack because he's never checking the flop and raising the turn without a set. It's just written on the wall. So obviously this is a must-call situation given the price he just laid me. And with 310 in, the river is a beautiful jack of spades, giving me the absolute nuts. Now this gave me the rare opportunity, something you have not seen much on this vlog, to overbet the pot. I go all in for his last 400, and he snap calls with the set of kings, just as I expected, and we take down an $1,100 pot. I pick up ace-jack of spades in the next hand and raise to 25 over this guy who limps. He makes the call. And with 55 in, it comes Jack 10-4 rainbow with 1 spade. He checks, and I bet 35. He proceeds to check raise $95 more. Now, I really should have just re-raised here, based on game flow and the mindset that he seemed to be in, but I decided to just call. And with 315 in, the turn comes what I quickly realized was a terrible card for me. The ace of clubs. He checks, and I bet 75. And he quickly folds what was obviously a hand weaker than mine on the flop. The ace, though it did give me a stronger hand, killed my action. Then I pick up aces and get action pre-flop, on the flop, and on the turn, but my $200 river bet gets a fold. Then, Mike Yastrzemski takes Shohei Ohtani deep for the first run of that game. Giants would go on to win it in extras. I play about another 2 hours without too many interesting hands, but I have no choice but to leave as I have to pick up my son, so I rack up and book the win. Well, it is always nice when your opponent gives you an amazing price on your draw and you actually hit that draw. That's a $975 win here on a afternoon session at the Atlantis. If you missed last week's vlog, by the way, Crush Live Poker has partnered up with me here on this vlog. And if you sign up, and if you do, it's basically guaranteed to help your live poker game. It'll help some of you more than others, but it's going to help all of you if you sign up. I can guarantee you that because I've been a subscriber for 10 years. If you sign up and use the referral code BENDEACH at checkout, you get 25% off a basic or premium subscription for life. I'd highly recommend that. CrushLivePoker.com. The link is in the description below. That'll wrap it up for this edition of the vlog. I'm going to go pick up my son, maybe shoot a little hoops when I'm over on that end of town. By the way, after I picked up my son, I then made a point to go grocery shopping when I had him with me because I've decided that I absolutely love putting him in a shopping cart and pushing him around. And I've come to the realization, as those of you who are parents know about, that these days aren't going to last long. So I'm trying to savor them while I can. All right, I'm checking in on the Saturday night after I recorded the vlog, and I just want to point out that all of you who are not sports fans, you're the ones who have this thing figured out right. As you know, I'm a huge Vegas Golden Knights fan. I've watched every game in franchise history, granted many of them on DVR, and I'm the guy who listens to multiple podcasts per week regarding the team. I feel like I can never get enough Golden Knights hockey. And how do they repay me when they are expected to make a Stanley Cup run? Well, their goalie, Marc-Andre Fleury, decides to throw the puck off of his own skate, have it bounce right in front of the net for a goal that swings the entire series against the Montreal Canadiens. They were never the same after that. They got one more win. That was due to their goalie, their other goalie, Robin Lehner, standing on his head. But it was basically over at that point, unfortunately. And man, being a sports fan is just brutal sometimes. And I'm just here to tell those of you who aren't one that makes a lot more sense. I think that's the way to go. I'm stuck in it, as many of you are too, but I'm jealous of those who don't give a damn sometimes. Oh, and before I go, I am not going to end on that down note. I'm going to end on the fact that my streak is over. That's right. I've been telling you and kind of complaining about it for years. It feels like that the fact that I can never get the board to pair in a big pot where I need it to pair. Streak's over, and it came with my favorite hand, pocket eights, where a old guy who I didn't know turned the nut flush on me, slow played it after I'd flopped a set of eights, but I went runner, jacks for the full house, got max value, got his entire stack, and booked actually a pretty nice bounce back win on a Sunday morning on a short session that I had after a brutal Friday night session where the offensive line coach for the Houston Texans was in the game, and he played like an offensive lineman. He was a rock. He didn't move. He didn't move any chips. That was unfortunate. So just thought I'd mention that before we wrap it up and come back next week. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already, and we'll see you back here next time.